What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Sophisticatedly Odd podcast, where we talk about sophisticatedly odd stuff. I'm Fred,
And I'm Sam.
and this is our first podcast trying to talk about odd stuff. We have this thing between the two of us where we talk about a lot of weird stuff, and so we figured we sort of just wanted to share that with the world.
Share the awkwardness and all the weirdness with all the weird people.
There's never any awkward moments between us. It's always just weirdness, man.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So what we wanted to do for the first podcast here is we sort of wanted to just talk about what the Sophisticatedly Odd podcast is about, what the Sophisticatedly Odd names mean to us, and why we even called this podcast the Sophisticatedly Odd podcast. Yeah.
Mainly, I think it's gonna involve a lot of sophisticatedly odd and weird topics that we're gonna cover.
You better get used to this word right now, sophisticatedly odd, or these words, because we're going to mention it like a million times, and it is not going to get any shorter.
That is very true.
So,
yeah.
That. So, sort of to take this, to create a baseline for you guys listening, Sam and I are very different persons in the real world, so to speak. We have very differing opinions, but we have very deep conversations about these opinions that we have, that both of us have, and very open opinions, let's just put it like that. Very open discussions where we sort of just talk about anything and everything with no filter. I do not have a problem offending anyone, and if you continue to listen to this podcast, I will offend you at some point, and I bet Sam will as well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, this is a dead guarantee. It is going to happen. Prepare your anus.
There are no lines, no limits. Everything is gonna be discussed, and if you're gonna feel like this is not gonna be comfortable for you to listen to, then this is definitely not the thing for you to listen.
Definitely not. It's very odd. Our train of thoughts are very, very odd, and sometimes very sexual, which is
most
weird.
of the time it's very sexual.
I mean, okay, see, we make this sound weird. See, okay, I was talking about a baseline. So, I'm a straight white guy, living in like a very first world country. I don't really have any problems in my day, and Sam, you tell your story.
Well, I am a white guy as well, but unlike Fred here, I'm not straight. So
What?
I live in a first world country as a white guy who is not straight, and yeah, that's basically where.
I mean, I have to point this out because you say first world country, but I mean, to a certain degree, you live in Dubai, and to a certain degree, can we not classify that as like at least part of a third world country?
I mean, it's getting there, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, at least the stigma is there, right?
Yeah, the stigma is there. People usually, when they vision Dubai, they vision it with all this fancy cars and massive buildings and this very rich oil country, and
Yeah.
I don't see how that is different from any of the other first world countries.
Wait, the first world countries?
Yeah.
Wait, it is so different, though.
Materialistically, maybe.
I mean, materialistically, we can always talk about the entire world, or at least the Western civilization, sort of striving towards the same things, or the same ideals, but in Dubai, it just like, at least from my perspective, it seems like it just like goes above and beyond. It's like, let's grab all the Western civilization and all the Western like ideas and beliefs and like tenfold it to like giant skyscrapers, and everything is expensive and massive and insane, and
That's Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, that's very true.
That's probably right.
Yeah,
So I mean, we live very different lives. Like your normal is very different from my normal. And
that is true.
this is something we've gotten into like quite a few conversations about a couple of times. I remember like there was a time where you kept saying, "Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's weird," and you still kept coming up with these crazy stories about your living situations or like your country and stuff. Where I was like, "This is insane. This is beyond weird." Where just like I think I got to the point where it was just like, all right, let's just agree that we're all weird. I remember saying this.
That's the best part about it. Is what is considered normal for me is weird for you, and what is considered normal for you would be weird for me due to the whatever culture that we're living in. Some things are acceptable, and some other things are like, whoa, you seriously have that? Like you actually do that?
Like I was about to say, gay people is not a problem in. I'm from Denmark, so yeah, in Denmark or in the entire Scandinavia, gay people is just like it's part of our everyday. But for you,
Exactly. Oh
is,
no 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 no!
oh no,
It is not accepted whatsoever. I mean, you can still see people, and you can pretty much tell that who is gay and who's not. It can be clear sometimes.
Wait, what? Just like your gay radar, like ping ding ding ding.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone heard about that gay radar thing.
Gaydar.
It's very easy to detect if someone is or not. It's not that hard, really.
I just
And
realized that Gaydar sort of sounds like a weird Darth Vader. Like Darth Gaydar is like he comes out with this pink lightsaber. Anyway, sorry, you're saying?
however you want to imagine it. Generally, people like you see them, people don't have problem with them in that kind of obvious way. Like you would not go there and tell them, why do you look like that, or why are you dressed like that, or can you tune it down a little bit. But it's more of like the general idea of accepting the whole homosexuality thing as part of the culture. That is what's frowned upon. It is not accepted, and it will never, I think, be accepted to be part of the culture because it's just not. It's not there, and it never has and never will be.
I have to get this straight. So by law, it is not acceptable, but everyone sort of knows that there's gay people all around.
Yes.
So
by law,
it's sociably ignored. I'm not gonna say accepted because I guess it's just ignored.
it's actually both. It can be both. It can be socially ignored and accepted. Socially ignored to those people who have very strong beliefs of their religious system or their political system that tells them that you should not accept these people. So simply, they just do not accept them. They just ignore them. Like they do not pay attention to them. Okay, you prefer that kind of stuff. Well, that's good for you. I just don't want to talk to you, or I don't want to deal with you. And there are people who accept you for who you are willing to be friends with you, who are friends with you, but they still understand that religiously and politically speaking, they are not accepting you in that kind of perspective.
So, you actually have friends who know you're gay in Dubai?
Oh yeah.
Like friends who aren't gay, straight
Yeah,
friends.
yeah, I have a lot of those. That's true.
Huh, I didn't know.
And they are fine with it. They never really, if anything, they actually never even go into detail. But they're just like, okay, that's good for you.
Let's just ignore this
Yeah.
this demon child.
And I really like that, actually, that reaction where they just don't care, because it shouldn't be something that you should care about. You know, when I go to someone, I'm not gonna care about if he sleeps with a girl or a guy. It's not something that you would ask a person just because if you want to hang out with them or something.
Not true.
You don't do that. You don't go to someone and tell them, "Hi, I like women. How about you?"
I bang chicks. Touche. It's actually a weird thought, like walking up to someone. I think like the weirdness usually comes from like the expectation of normality, and like heteronormativity is not as normal as people go around thinking that it is. But yeah.
Well, From what looking here, like I the definition of normality, I've looked it online.
Right, normal is
It
just what the social norms are like. Yeah.
well,
So
yeah,
okay,
but
let's get the definition. Let's get the clear cut.
yeah, the definition is from online is that the condition of being normal or the state of being usual, typical, or expected. Right?
Expected we can work with.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
there's always going to be the distinction between like everyone is always going to have different opinions or beliefs or expectations for what is normal or what is usual. And so you can never really in true form talk about any form of actual normality. That's how I perceive normality, at least. There will always be. This is why I go to the mantra like, can we all just agree that we're all weird? Because you and I, for example, but like I can have people closer to my living situation that I probably have just as differing opinions as you and I do. But just let's take you and I for example. You live in a horribly suppressing country for your sexuality, and I live in a country where the bigoted hatred towards gay people is not really existent. Like we're talking about like out of I don't even know the English word for this, but like far out edges of Denmark where you'd find someone that actually thinks that gayness is weird. But like the entirety of like our main city is year round filled with like obviously like gay bars or like pride parades or whatever. I think it was actually like last week or last month maybe where there was a pride parade.
yeah. That's funny
I
because
should
I never
actually
attended
attend.
one of those.
You never attended one.
No, where am I gonna attend one of those? We don't have them
Oh
here.
yeah, touche.
So the only way to be at one is to actually travel there, and I I'm not willing to do that really, just
Oh,
to attend.
I've always thought about like attending one or like just being present and seeing it. I saw it out of a window once, and I was like, this like several years ago where I wasn't as open minded. Let's just put it like that. I was a little child, and I saw it out the window, and I was like, what are all these naked men doing on the streets? I mean, I mean, something like that. Yeah, they weren't really naked, but I mean, at least partially. Like dudes wearing thongs. I'll put that as naked. I'll label that as
Yeah,
naked.
and they usually wearing leather stuff like that. That's true. Yeah, that's what they do in gay parades.
Yeah. There's something
Y-
I actually remember something. I was gonna go completely off topic here, but what were you about to say then?
I was like, the best thing about gay parades is it's kind of like a well, it has a good side and a bad side. The good side is it exposes you to all the variety that we have in the community. Like you're gonna see everyone. You're gonna go from twinks to drag queens
What is
to
a
sugar.
twink?
A twink is a
I have never heard that term.
you never heard of twink? The word twink.
Twink, no.
Okay, to be a
I'm
twink.
not in that like so deeply ingrained in that community.
Well, yeah, but I thought it's a common knowledge.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
to be
It's like
considered.
wait. Speaking of common terms, what was that word the from like sucking like semen out of your ass that you mentioned the other day?
Uh,
What was it? Was it? It was something with an F, right?
It's yeah, I can't remember it really.
Okay, never mind. I'll remember at one point. I thought that was fucking hilarious. Anyway, sorry. God damn.
So yeah, to be a twink, you need to meet two requirements, right? You need to be a teen in the teen years, so nothing above 19, right?
Yeah.
And nothing below 13. It has to be between 13 and 19.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to be a teen to be qualified as a twink. The second requirement is to be skinny as hell.
Sort of skinny. Teenager.
Skinny, yes, skinny
I thought that was
teenager.
called anorexia.
No, no. Wow. Okay, not that skinny. Just normal skinny.
Oh, okay.
Like a little bit underweight. You have to be a little bit underweight.
Does it have anything to do with sexuality?
No, it doesn't.
Oh, okay,
but that's
okay.
how we categorize them. Like, if in the community you see someone that is that skinny, who's underweight, and he is a teenager, usually you refer to them. Oh, you're such a Twinkie.
Oh, a Twinkie.
Yeah.
I thought, okay. I guess I had a different like entry point or whatever we'll call it. I thought it was like along like you're gay, lesbian, twink, or whatever, like straight. I thought it was like that kind of word. Sorry.
Well,
Okay,
no.
so skinny teens.
Yeah, I'm not sure how it goes for the straight people. I'm not sure if they use that term on guys who are skinny and who are teenagers, but usually in the community, if with an assumption that he's gay, you need to be underweight and you need to be a teenager, so that we would call you a Twinkie.
A Twinkie.
Yeah, or a twink. The term for it is twink. If you want to make it a little bit more fairy, you would call him a Twinkie.
Of course, you want to make him a little more fairy.
Yeah.
Give him a fucking wand and a couple of wings, and you're good.
Oh yeah.
Twinkie.
That would make it even better. That would fit the description of how to be a twink.
So, I'm sort of off topic, but I've noticed that you always say the community, right?
Yeah.
What kind of community do you refer to here? Like the LGBTQTWS, to like whatever synonym that they're going for right now, or is it just the gay community?
No, the
Or is it-
LGBT community.
Okay, it's one of the same thing, I guess.
Yeah, the LGBT community as a whole is when I say the word community, I'm referring to like lesbians, gays, transsexuals, transgenders, or all of them. They are bisexuals. All of them are included in this.
All right.
Basically, anything that is not a hetero.
All right.
Yeah.
I've heard this. All right. Apparently, this is a thing on like Tumblr or whatever. Like, apparently, like straight guys is referred to as cis males. Have you ever heard this?
No.
Okay. Try and look that up if you want.
Okay. How do you write that? Cis.
I think it's like CIS, cis male. I think it is just to refer to like a straight white male, nothing else. Like the arguments that I've sort of like stumbled across is like, oh, you can't say anything because you're just a cis male, and I'm like, what? Just because I'm hetero male, I can't say anything? Shut the fuck up.
So apparently a
That's not
cis
how this
male
word
is... There are two versions of the term cis male. For male assigned male at birth, or cis female for female assigned female at birth. Is that what you're talking about
Yeah.
here?
Why can we not just call that male and female?
Yeah. Because this is... it's because of the whole transgender issue that we're currently having. Because transgender people are either a male who switched to a female kind of body appearance, or a female that switched to a male appearance. And their whole reasoning behind this is that ever since they were born, let's say a boy was born, right? And he decided to be a transgender because ever since he was a kid, his appearance was male, but deep inside him it felt more like a woman, basically. The way he thinks, the way he eats, the way he feels is more like of a woman, and that's why he decided to become a transgender. And that's why the whole cis thing happened, because calling someone male at birth because they are male, so just to differentiate between them and transgender. I don't know.
Maybe it's just my minimum exposure to this, but I've only seen it used as like a negative thing, like another label. It's used in the same way that you would use oh, you're so gay, like in a derogatory sense, right?
Yeah,
That's the only
and
way that
that's
I've seen it, and that's when to me it at least starts to become like a horrible like stigmatism to put on people. Like you don't want to ever label people. Just be you. Like I mean, you be you, boo.
yeah, yeah, that's true. But mainly that's something that would happen for sure, since there are people who are calling gays or a gay as a faggot or something. So eventually you'll find gay people that would have to give a name to straight people.
Yeah, but like, all right, here's where the thread sort of cuts for me, right? When you come from a community, the LGBT community, where you are used to, or at least exposed to, the a large part of the population on this world calling you derogatory names by what you identify as sexually, right? Like you are gay. You find yourself in a community where what you identify as is used as a derogatory name. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, yeah.
When you're in this community, why would you ever think that it would be all right to do the same things to others? It would.
Because in
It's like you're not gonna win. Like fire versus fire is not gonna win. It's just going to create a bigger fire.
that is true, but we need to call that certain group as something,
Oh yeah, yeah.
because
I can see, and this is where I sort of emphasize that this is possibly because of my minimum exposure to the word or the term in general, where I've only seen it used negatively.
yeah,
Like um, I've never really seen it just as a descriptive word or term or whatever we'll call it. I've only ever seen it as like slander towards straight people, like you're doing something wrong. Well, if you're calling me out for doing this thing as being something wrong, what gives you the right uh to do that when you don't want it yourself, sort of thing? It's like I'm not gonna quote Jesus here and like say turn the other cheek. I'm just like it's not gonna happen. But I think you get where I'm going with this.
yeah. I get where you're going with this. But do you want to know actually something pretty um, surprising? Is that there's a lot. I'm not exaggerating with this. There's a lot, massive numbers of gay people who actually have no problems whatsoever of calling themselves or not claiming, or acknowledging themselves to other people with the term gay. They find pride in it.
Well, yeah.
They no, like in a weird way. Like to me personally, I find, even to me, I find this. Why why does the word hold so much pride to you when to some other people they use it as an offense? They're like, I've heard it so many times where they're like, yes, I'm gay, yes, I'm faggot. Do you have a problem with that? I'm proud of it. I'm like, okay, so you're using it in that way, whereas you have the other people who would use it in a more offensive way.
I think we sort of look at it like partially historically, at least. Just take black people for example, right? They sort of did the same thing. Like rap culture really brought the N word in the spotlight as being something that black people were allowed themselves to call themselves, right?
Yeah,
It was like this empowerment of taking control of this derogatory term and taking it on as themselves. Like this is my thing now. I'm going to identify as what I create this to be. I'm going to change what this word means for me and so for others. The difference here is that, or the main difference, that at least I would say, is probably that the it's not really as, I don't know. I don't actually know where I'm going with this difference in general.
okay.
But yeah, I think yeah. Never mind.
I kind of
It sort of
understand.
parallels each other, like the
Yeah,
gay and the N word.
yeah. But to me, generally, though, and I'm not sure if you've noticed this from all of our previous discussions. Something whenever if someone who doesn't know about my sexual preference, and whenever I um, come out of the closet, if that's the term that you want to use, to that person,
Giggity.
I've never actually used the term that I never flat out said. By the way, I'm gay. I've never said that. Like from the very first time, I usually say I'm not straight, or I usually say I'm not interested in women. I'm interested in men.
Yeah,
That's how usually
yeah,
I
I've
describe
noticed that.
myself. Yeah, I've never used that term from the very first time. For two reasons. The first one is because I don't really like that name, which
What,
brings
gay?
yeah, because it brings me back to the point of defining someone or labeling someone with a certain word.
Huh.
It's a massive discussion, massive topic that can have a lot of controversy about it, but I usually don't like labeling. And when I kind of come clean to someone using that word, I feel like I'm acknowledging it to myself rather than telling them about what what my actual preference is, in a way. So
Yeah.
I've never really used that term from the very first time. I use it every now and then, but from the very first time, I've never actually done that.
So what do you prefer, gay or homosexual? Okay, gay. That was sort of a like homosexual
Yeah.
or like
No, I just no, not even that. I just say
you just
I'm
say
not
you're into
straight.
men.
Yeah, or I'm into men, or I'm not into women,
Huh.
basically.
Now that you say it, I can I can sort of see what you mean. I've never actually heard you like flat out talk about gayness,
Yeah,
unless we're talking about like rainbows out the ass and stuff. But I mean, um, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's strange.
And that's a personal preference thing. I mean, if there are other people out there who are gay and who are actually using that word to describe themselves to other people, go ahead. If that works for you, that's completely fine. I'm not saying I have anything against the word. I'm not saying that I have anything against the term. I just have something against labeling myself as a person, me, with that term.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely see how it can be an empowering thing to take control over the term itself. I can see why people would do that. Just like people, like straight people go with like, yeah, I'm straight or whatever. Like, they see it as like an empowering thing. Like I am, but usually that's. I mean, most empowering words are used to put yourself on a pedestal or like put yourself above someone else, right?
Yeah,
Which is why, yeah, I'm straight is not really should not really be an acceptable phrase. Let's put it like that. Simply because it has the connotation of like I am better than X. Um, yeah,
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. That brought some thoughts to my head. Anyways, earlier I was when you mentioned that that people walk around in Dubai and people know that everyone's gay. It brought a book to my mind that I read a couple of years ago. I think it was like it was called the hairdresser of Harare or something. It was about like Africa, and the perceived notion or the perceived vision of gay people in Africa, right?
Okay.
It was a novel, right? But it sort of emphasized a lot of the same much of the same situation that you were describing, where it would happen like a lot, like men and men having sex was not uncommon, but it was sort of like if you just didn't talk about it, it didn't really happen. Sort of that idea. Like if the community didn't talk about it, and if the people having sex with each other, like the two men having sex with each other, didn't talk about it, then it didn't actually really happen. Like it wasn't present in their mind. And I thought that was a really
It wasn't.
interesting way of like dealing with denial.
That is like what you're saying is basically the gay people in general. If they just would not talk about this at all with each other, they would eventually forget about who they actually are or what their preference is.
No. Not that they would forget it. Like they would still be into men. It was just like it's not gay if we don't say it's gay.
Huh. So they can still do it though. But
I like don't take this as gospel from like what Africa is, but it was just a book I read. I've never actually been to Africa. Anyone listening, don't take this as a gospel. But that was what was described there.
But that's pretty interesting though.
Yeah.
I mean, but it depends. The reason behind this, is it because they just want people to stop talking about it, or is it?
It's because it's illegal. Like it's just as illegal in Africa. It's a Muslim country, so
yeah.
homosexuality is super illegal as well.
So yeah, I guess it's more of like, it's kind of like a very horrible way of trying to cover these people up by just not.
It's massive denial. I think actually it was something like spoiler alert if anyone is ever gonna read the Hairdresser of Harare. I think it sort of ended with like the main character was a girl and she sort of got this crush on her colleague who turned out to be gay. But the way that she found out that he was gay was like he was banging the like president of like or like former president of the state.
Wow.
Or like vice versa. He was probably bottom or whatever. I think that was how it was described, and it was just like it was just like brushed under the table, like this precedent, like the wife knew and like everyone knew, but they just didn't talk about it. Like no one said anything, so he wasn't gay. It was sort of like that. Super spoiler alert, but never mind.
Wow.
It's not like this is a book club, anyways.
There is this. Since you mentioned the word bottom in this whole thing, there is this kind of which I find really funny. Kind of way of understanding for straight guys who actually had sex with gay guys or whatever, who actually they call themselves straight just because they have never actually been a bottom. They are mainly a top in the process. You know?
Oh, the ultimate denial.
Yeah, like they say, no, dude, I'm straight. I just like to fuck guys, basically. I was like, you see, like, no, it doesn't work like that,
that's
man.
That's not how it works. If you can get a boner for another dude, if you're a dude, then there's probably something not straight about you. And I'm not saying that's bad.
It's not bad at all.
I'm just saying that that's probably denial, man, and you should probably just come out of the closet.
Yeah, it's bad when you still call yourself straight. That's when it's bad.
Oh God. Oh goodness.
It's reminding me of God. I'm very bad with names. It was a very amazing movie, a very amazing fucked up movie. May I add to that? Because the ending, I was like, what the fuck is happening right here?
Suicide Squad.
No. No, it's a gay themed movie. I will look the name up while we're still talking. But for now, I'm gonna explain what the movie is about. It's basically a guy and a girl who got married, right? And that girl that he got married to, she has a brother, and her husband is basically sleeping with her brother.
That sounds like Game of Thrones.
Yeah, in a way. But throughout the entire movie, that husband has always told her brother that he is straight, and that is why he would never be interested in having a stable relationship with him, because he's straight, he's into women, but he's simply just sleeping with him because it's sex and he gets to fuck him, pretty much.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
I
I
love
was
how I
like,
just used the word weird. That is so not normal in my
it is
world.
not, but it's a brilliant movie. Heartbreaking, but brilliant.
Oh, I thought that was the name of it real quick. I thought you found it like heartbreaking.
No, no, no.
Oh, that would be a weird title anyways. I don't know. For me, like, I remember, like, speaking about my perspective on normality, so to speak, or whatever. For me, it's only these last couple of years. Like, I'd say like 8, it may be 10 years that I've actually like thought about there being another sexuality, or like been exposed to there being another sexuality, like that other people may have another sexuality than myself, right? And it, I mean, I got it at a very early age, I guess. Not that early, though, I guess, but never mind. And so for me, like learning this whole community, or like experiencing and like getting to know people that are from the LGBT community, has really been an eye opener for me. Like, I remember the first time that we talked together and I found out that you were gay. I had so many questions about everything. Like, so many weird, odd questions that only a straight dude would ever ask.
Do you
Like,
like to take it up your bum? Wait,
like,
what?
what? No, like, I remember not knowing what bottom was. Remember that?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
you were like almost in tears with laughter from me not knowing what the fuck bottom was. I did not know
It was
that.
brilliant.
I mean, I could sort of guess it, but it just didn't, like, I've never referred to it like that. Never really, like, with my girlfriend or any other sexual partner that I've ever had. It's just, well, I guess sort of. I don't know. I've
Well,
never.
we had to come up with those terms because in a straight couple, right? Usually, like 99.9% of the time, it's usually the man who is inside the woman, right?
Yeah. But
But in
here you
our
have two entrances and two like keys.
yeah, exactly. Like in our case, all right, who's doing what here? We need to sort this out. And
Oh god.
no, it doesn't go just one way. It goes both ways. You can exchange roles. So, obviously there had to be some kind of a terminology to come up with to refer to these kind of positions.
Yeah.
But it can be very confusing as well, because
What, for gay
the
people?
yeah, because the word top and bottom doesn't necessarily mean what kind of, like, if you are the receiver or if you're the giver. It also can mean if you like to be on the top or at the bottom while having sex.
Okay, so you can be a top taker, or what
Yeah,
was it, taker?
yeah, a bottom who likes to be on the top while taking it.
I mean, yeah, okay. I
So
guess
it can,
see, this, yeah, okay. There's just
yeah,
different terminologies for it, but
yeah,
this whole like dictionary was something that I just did not know anything about, and until recently, like very recently, where I've asked you so many stupid questions
yeah,
that
yeah,
sort of broadened my horizons. Because I'm going to be honest, it is very hard for me to describe what normality is for me, because it's just it just is, right? And all of the LGBT community or whatever, like gay people and stuff, those those came after my sense of normality was sort of formed, like my initial sense of normality when I was a child.
yeah,
Like, everyone has a mom, everyone has a dad, sort of sense of normality, right? And so,
yeah.
like, to realize that, oh, if some people have two dads, some people have two moms, that was like eye opening. I remember. I'm making it sound like I was a stupid fucking kid. I wasn't, but it just, I I don't know. It grew on me to a certain degree. Like I've never been in any way, shape, or form against it or like aggressive towards gay people or the LGBTWQ community, whatever. Um, it's just like I sort of accepted it. I have this, and I've said this a couple of times to you at least. Like I have this sort of mentality that like you do you, boo, and I'm like let me be me, and I'll let you be you.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as no one like you should never ever in an ideal world you should never really strive towards changing other people and their opinion, unless of course, well, we have the societal norms that say, yeah, you should try and change people if they try to like murder other people, and I see why that makes sense. But as long as it's not hurting other people, as long as it's just for you, you do you, boo, you do you.
Yeah. The thing is, like, there is, and people should understand this, like, there is absolutely no problem if you are a straight guy who is trying to understand what's happening on the other side, if you want to call it that
The
way.
other side.
Yeah, like
Stranger Things, that like the never mind. Sorry.
pretty much, yeah. If you want to
Yeah.
describe it that way, because it's something that
Demogorgons.
you have not been exposed to,
I don't
and you
recall
want to
gay
learn
people
more
that.
about. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. It's only a problem if you become against it, like you said.
Yeah,
But
aggressive.
if you, yeah, if you're not against it, if you're not aggressive about it, then I can tell you from now, you can ask all the questions you can ask, and we won't feel annoyed by it.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Again, it has a weird, because we're speaking about normalities here. It fits in a very unusual way. It's normal, but it's not normal. You're confused. You don't know how to place it because you've already built a foundation of what should be normal. But then we tell you, well, hello, we exist. What do you want to call us? You know?
I think the general aggressiveness comes from I'm not necessarily going to call it ignorance, but secluded minds. It's like the people that they live in their own bubbles. Like this is my zone of normality, and everything outside it is the other. Like in group out group mentality sort of thing, where everything that I deem normal or at least partially normal, they will be accepted in my in group, and everything outside will be the out group, which is like the reason for most of human like aggressiveness in general, in groups and out groups. But that's another story.
Yeah.
And so, like, especially with sexuality and gay people, I think most of it comes from the like being scared of the other, like being not necessarily scared of change, but viewing the other as like this demonic form, if we are to take it religiously. Like a lot of religious people in most religions in general have some sort of aggressiveness. So let's not call it aggressiveness, but like a negative bias towards gay people. Like Christians don't like gay people, or like the Catholics don't like gay people at least, and Muslims don't like gay people really. And I think there's something, and this is another subject that we probably should get into in a completely different topic, but like religion in general can be very hurtful because it also in many cases it helps to generate this sense of normality that is ancient. In many cases it is ancient.
Yeah.
That you just shouldn't necessarily listen to.
I would actually be looking forward to talk about this whole religion topic. It's gonna be massive, and
We're probably gonna offend a lot of people.
we're gonna probably offend a lot of people.
Well,
but
I mean, we did give a trigger warning to begin with, so I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I like if I haven't offended at least one person during this podcast, like, I'm just gonna quit.
Exactly.
My life is over. Me saying LGBTQW whatever community, that is gonna go down in the history books as very cis male something to say.
Oh my god. It's very easy. LGBTQ.
What's the Q? Queer?
Well, yeah.
Wait, but is that not like the same? Lesbian, gay, like, what is it? Lesbian,
Have
gay.
you not? I'm pretty sure you have not watched a TV show called Queer as Folk, have you?
No.
Okay. A queer is basically another term of the word gay, but it's mainly used for a very, and I'm gonna offend a lot of people by saying this, but there we go. It's a very sissy-like gay people that you would refer to them as queer. So if you like, if I see someone who,
but does it not? Okay, wait. Give me a second here. LGBT. What's the abbreviation? Lesbian, gay,
gay, bisexual,
transsexual, and queer. But
yeah.
But to me, like, there's the problem or the dilemma with queer. It's not. It doesn't seem to be its own sexuality, right? It's just a more feminine thing.
Yeah, it's not really a sexuality, and that's why it's not. It doesn't really get used by a lot of people. It's something that I just found myself using a lot because I use it a lot. Basically, it's mainly if we're gonna talk about sexuality, it's the lesbians and gays and bisexuals and transsexuals, right? And then it's up to you, really. But this is the official community. But it's up to you if you want to add the Q to it or not. If you wanna refer to them as
I've seen crazy abbreviations where they sort of like added like also weirdness. That's why I said it. I'm like, okay, don't take this the wrong way. I'm gonna call it weirdness because it is not part of my my necessary vocabulary.
Yeah. No, but officially speaking, it has to be LGBT. That's officially speaking.
All right.
The lesbians and gays and bisexuals and transsexuals. And I'm very surprised that bisexuals are actually included in this, but yeah.
Why would you be surprised at that? That makes perfect sense to me, though.
Is it? Yeah. I mean, a person who's interested in both genders doesn't seem to be like a problem, really.
Wait, did you just classify the entire LGBT abbreviation as a problem?
No.
and threw one out because they weren't a problem?
Well, it is. It is when people are discussing the gay community, it's always seen as a problem. Like, they exist. We want to talk about this. Is it good? Is it bad? Do they influence us in a negative way? Do they influence in a positive way? That's usually the talk about the LGBT, right?
Yeah, but I mean,
why are the bisexuals included in this? Because one of the strongest words, but I believe that this should be in a completely different topic, is the being attracted to the same gender would affect the population, stuff like that. Again, I would prefer if you talk about that in another topic. But this is, I don't see how the bisexual people can.
I think to a certain degree, it generally boils down to what people consider normality, and if you get off of two genders, then you are not part of the normality that people expect, or the majority expect, right? And so you're put in the same box.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, it's all a matter of perspective, right? If we all saw everything as normal, there would be no LGBT community because they would just be people.
That is true. Actually, I'm very, like, talking about this, like, to me, right? uh, all this kind of different sexual attractions, the gay, lesbians, and bisexual and transsexuals. To me, all of these, because I have been exposed to that culture for a long time. I'm part of that culture. I consider it to be normal, where to other people, it's really not. But do you know what I do not
But you
consider
still,
as normal?
yeah. So yeah. What?
I'm pretty sure you came across the term asexual people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically people who are not sexually attracted to anything at all.
Yeah, I don't understand that either.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, like, what do you do in your life? Like, what's happening here?
What do you do in your life? No motivation for anything. Like, why would you ever go to the gym if you're not trying to hook up with anyone? I mean, geez, duh, right?
Like, seriously, that's not normal to me. There's something abnormal about that.
I love how we're ousting asexual people here. Well, I gotta agree with you there. Like, there's something
Yeah,
sophisticatedly odd about that.
I mean, I love them. I have nothing against them, but to have zero sexual attraction towards.
Okay, imagine this for a second. Imagine you did not have a sexual attraction for anything. What would you spend your life on, right? What dreams would you pursue? Why would you even pursue anything?
Exactly. Again,
Well, maybe
it's very confusing.
I think that's a very male train of thought. Just to put that out there. I don't think that any female listeners would agree that sexuality is bound to to your hopes and dreams.
But I actually can very in a confident way disagree with this statement, because sex is part of life. It's an essence that it's something. It's an activity that human beings go through to feel something or to get something out of, whether that population.
But you can feel something from everything, so to speak. Right?
Well, yeah, but sex kind of give its own unique feeling, right? You cannot.
But if you never had that feeling, why would you know that you're missing it?
That's true.
So imagine
but again,
that. Yeah, imagine that you've never had this attraction, but you're still doing the normal thing, going about your life, right?
Yeah. But again, to me, it's still weird, because I came across a video where a guy basically on YouTube he said that he wants to come out as being bisexual to all his friends and stuff like that, because he felt attracted to both genders. And then literally, like a couple of weeks after that, he was like, "Alright guys, I have news for you. I think I'm asexual." I was like, "Okay, what's happening here? Like, what happened? A couple of weeks ago, you were attracted to both genders, and all of a sudden, just like that, you're not attracted to anyone anymore?"
He must have had some very horrible experiences in that period of time. I mean, things that must have just gone way downhill from there.
I know, right? It must have been a really bad experience that would make you go all the way as to block all your sexual feelings to someone.
God, I remember the first time that I was actually exposed to anyone being like asexual was a news article about this dude who he had sold his genitals to like the highest bidder. Like, he was going to cut them off and like saute the shit in a pan or whatever, like make a dish out of it. I think it was a Chinese dude, where like in China it's not illegal. Cannibalism is apparently not illegal. I don't know why. That's a necessary information, but it is. And he sold it to the highest bidder, and he served his dick to someone who just like ate it for like $1 million. I don't know how much he actually paid for it, but I remember being so horrified. I was like, how did you do this?
Oh,
what
God.
The fuck?
Yeah. I was so close to ask how much did he sell it for. Maybe I should do that.
No, you could never. You're too sexually fucking
Yeah,
addicted,
no.
you nymphomaniac. Anyways, I think we've I think we've insulted enough people here and raised some eyebrows. So I think we'll cut this for today. The first episode.
Yeah,
It's
it's
it was
sophisticatedly odd indeed.
yeah, it was an experience, a very sophisticatedly odd experience, a very non-normal experience, and expect a lot more of these because we're going to continue with these in the future. We
If
don't know how
anything,
many, and we don't know if we're ever going to stop. So keep around if anything.
yeah.
So
And
yeah,
if anything, it's just gonna get weirder and weirder. So
probably, most likely. We've only scratched the surface. Anyways, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
bye.